Welcome back to 5 for 5. Now, literature is a form of art, and thus it is very subjective, and that makes it very hard to judge which are the top 5 greatest books of all time. But we have to give it a try, and this is how we've done it. Time magazine asked 125 of the greatest authors in the world to give them their top 10 list, and we have taken the top 5 that came out of all that exercise. So here it is. Coming in at number 5, we have one of the greatest American authors of all time, Mark Twain. When The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn was published in 1884, it was actually banned by most libraries, but that didn't prevent it from becoming the 5th greatest book of all time.
This great American novel by Mark Twain is told in the first person by Huckleberry Finn, the best friend of Tom Sawyer. The book is noted for its colorful description of people and places along the Mississippi River, and it became even more controversial in the 20th century because of its perceived use of racial stereotypes. Huck Finn has been adapted on screen numerous times, from the 50s all through to the 90s.
Coming in at number 4, we've got a novel by Vladimir Nabokov. It's called Lolita. When it was first published in 1955, it was controversial, and it still is, because Lolita revolves around the story of a man who's middle-aged, but he is obsessed with a 12-year-old girl.
After its publication, Lolita attained a classic status, becoming one of the best-known and most controversial examples of 20th century literature. Although Lolita is now widely regarded as a classic, in the 1950s it was regularly denounced, even generating calls for the deportation of its author, Vladimir Nabokov. The name Lolita has entered pop culture to describe a seductive young girl. The novel was adapted to film in 1962 and again in 1997.
War and Peace is an absolutely lethal bit of literature simply because the book is about this fact. It is also written by Leo Tolstoy, and it is the 3rd greatest book of all time.
War and Peace is noted for its mastery of realistic detail and variety of psychological analysis. It's generally regarded as one of the world's greatest novels. Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace is primarily concerned with the histories of 5 aristocratic families, the members of which are portrayed against a vivid background of Russian social life during the war against Napoleon. It has been adapted on screen, radio, theatre, and the opera.
Coming in at number 2, we have the raciest book on our list. It's called Madame Bovary, and it's written by Gustave Flaubert. The book is basically about a doctor's wife who is bored with life and decides to have a whole number of affairs and live way beyond her means.
Madame Bovary was attacked for obscenity by public prosecutors when it was first serialized in 1856. However, after acquittal, it became a bestseller in book form in April 1857 and now stands virtually unchallenged as one of the most influential novels ever written. Madame Bovary has been made into several films and has also been the subject of multiple television miniseries and made-for-TV movies.
Here at the top of our list, once again, we have Leo Tolstoy with his book Anna Karenina. Now, this book is pretty much considered to be one of the most influential pieces of literature in modern history.
Widely regarded as a pinnacle in realist fiction, the novel is set in the glamorous world of the aristocracy in 19th century Russia. Anna Karenina became a bestseller in the United States in 2004 after a recommendation by TV personality Oprah Winfrey. Media adaptations of this masterpiece extend to operas, films, and television. The novel's popularity was demonstrated by a recent poll of 125 contemporary authors by Time magazine, which declared that Anna Karenina is the greatest novel ever written.
There are some types of literature that are so firmly rooted in the language in which they're written that they defy translation. And then there are some types of literature that are so broad in scope that translating them is a relatively easy job. Now, we're going to be ranking for you the top 5 most translated authors in the world. According to Times magazine, by the time you were 13, Enid Blyton had finished writing for you. And indeed, she was one of the most well-loved children's authors in the world. Famous 5, Secret 7, translated into 90 different languages. She comes in at number 5.
Enid Blyton published over 600 children's or juvenile books during her 40-year career. She was one of the most successful children's storytellers of the 20th century, and by the 1980s, Blyton's books had sold some 60 million copies and had been translated into nearly 70 languages.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Well, that's my little bit of Shakespeare that I remember. Fact is, William Shakespeare is one of the most translated authors in the world. His plays have been translated into every major language in the world, and he comes in at number 4.
The Bard was an English poet, dramatist and actor considered by many to be the greatest dramatist of all time. Some of Shakespeare's plays, such as Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet, are among the most famous literary works of the world. His plays have been translated into every major living language.
Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. Now, most of us know him as a statesman who brought about the rise of communism in what was later to become the Soviet Union. His books have been translated and published in more than 50 different countries, and that puts him in at number 3 on our list.
Lenin was one of the leading political figures and revolutionary thinkers of the 20th century. He was a Russian revolutionary, a communist politician, the principal leader of the October Revolution, and the first head of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Lenin's works are systematically published in over 50 countries.
Next on our list, we have the author of the amazing books A Journey to the Center of the Earth and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Jules Verne is rightly considered to be one of the founding fathers of the science fiction genre, and he comes in at number 2 on our list.
Verne's stories, written for adolescents as well as adults, caught the enterprising spirit of the 19th century. Many of Verne's ideas have been hailed as prophetic. Among his best-known books is the classic adventure story, Around the World in 80 Days.
Here at the top of our list, we have the queen of the whodunit, and she's also the highest-selling fiction author of all time. Agatha Christie's books have been translated 6,362 times, putting her in at number 1.
This grande dame of mystery wrote over 66 novels, numerous short stories and screenplays. Several of her works were made into successful feature films, the most notable being Murder on the Orient Express in 1974. Her work has been translated into more than 100 languages. In short, she's the single most popular mystery writer of all time.
It's time for us to take a short break, but you definitely don't want to go anywhere. Why is that? Well, right after the break, we'll be back with the top 5 fiction novels of 2008 and the top 5 sci-fi novels of all time!